Hello everyone, welcome back to another art time lapse. Today I am doing a custom art piece that is a thumbprint guestbook. So this is actually a much larger piece, as you can see based on the piece of paper I have here. I've actually watered down the paper quite a bit just to prevent it from buckling later as I'm doing the piece, but majority of this piece is actually going to be white because I need to leave room for the guests to put on their thumbprints for this guest book or like guest art print. So a lot of people have been doing these nowadays for these fingerprint guest books, and it's a great option to add as a decor to your own living space, and it's kind of remember the special moment that you had with your significant other. So for this particular piece, I'm doing it as a custom art piece. I am doing it as a Studio Ghibli theme. I brainstormed for a number of ideas of how to execute this, and at the end decided on doing this crescent moon. I had also considered researching into the idea of looking at the date for when the wedding is happening, and at that specific location at that date and time, how the moon will look like, and replicate that in that piece. So that's like another Easter egg I was considering adding on as well. But for the most part, I know that the couple really loves or enjoys Studio Ghibli, so I'm gonna include a lot of their favorite colors for this custom piece. And of course, I must have my neighbor Totoro as the main character in the center of the piece, and then surrounded by that, I'm gonna do various characters from other epic movies from the Studio Ghibli franchise. Hopefully you'll enjoy this art time lapse and also recognize some of these characters that I'm adding in. So to start off with the piece, I'm using a lot of watered down gouache to kind of outline where all the characters are roughly. I don't do a lot of sketching with pencils to lay out where everything is. I like to just kind of go hands-on with the gouache. For this piece, I really have to be patient and not focus on one particular portion of the art piece for too long. For a larger art piece, advice that I would suggest is definitely like working simultaneously on like the entire piece in different sections at the same time. That way you can kind of balance out the colors so nothing really like pops or stand out, or the color scheme doesn't match as readily. So for this piece, one of the harder challenges was like staying on task with like working on different characters simultaneously at the same time. So you can see that I have the cat bus included in the piece. And then for the destination for the cat bus, I think I want to include like some kind of message in there as well. I also have Haku from Spirited Away. Again, doing a little bit of outline here, but of course we can go back and add a bit more shadow. Being extra careful when I do outline on like some of that white empty space, because I know that there is really no room for mistake when you're working on a piece with white background. Here I'm gonna have the moon tied up with like all these strings that are gonna string upwards, and then the guests will put their thumbprints on, and those will be the balloons. After I finish with laying out the gouache, I'm using some oil pencils to add some gradient and softness to the piece, speeding up the process so that you guys don't get bored, because really I spent a long time on the piece. If I actually did this on real time, I think many people will drop off on the video even before I finish the art piece. At least I think so. At this point in the piece, I'm losing track of how long I spent time on it, because usually I only get like an hour or 2 hours to spend on the piece while my little ones are falling asleep. But luckily I'm on vacation for this part of the year, so kind of worked out. Also using this archival jelly roll ink from Sakura to add on a little bit of highlights. So you can see I'm adding a little bit of suit sprites that May is holding on to, also from my neighbor Totoro, along with a small white Totoro that's hanging out beside her. I really like adding these white highlights. It just makes the characters pop so much more. And I also want the characters to kind of interact each other rather than just being in the same space together. Here on the destination for the cat bus, I wrote the year for when the couples will be getting married. So when they look at the piece, they can recall this was the year that we got married. I found that really helpful when I had a piece of artwork for my wedding. Next, I want to show you that I've also included characters from Kiki's delivery service. I think these are just two very lovely couples. So far, I've really enjoyed putting this piece together. It was just so much fun trying to imagine like how I could incorporate all these characters into like this crescent moon shape. And I really hope that the couple will like this piece as well. Unfortunately, they don't really have a chance to look at it until they get it as a gift, because it's a gift from a friend. But I value having this opportunity to be part of that special moment and special day for them, and like producing this piece that hopefully will be something that they'll hang in their living space and get to look at for years to come. As you can see, there are Castle in the Sky, there's the robot from it. I think it's such an iconic character. It'll be nice to include into this beautiful art piece as well. The paper that I picked up at my local art store is at least around 33 inches in length, just to give you guys a heads up of how big this piece is. But of course, I think a third or a quarter of the piece is white space because I need to leave it for thumbprints. And if you're gonna do a project similar to this, I would suggest having a look at how many signatures or how many thumbnails you're anticipating putting onto that piece, and that will give you a better idea what size of paper to use, because you don't want to have a piece of paper that's too small or like too big when there aren't actually that many guests to fill up the space. Here, using my white jelly roll just to fill out the outlines. The other thing to consider if you're doing something similar to this for a Thumbprint Guestbook is to consider adding the couple's name and also the year and date for when they're getting married on the bottom. I think an art piece like this is just so special. It's something great to commemorate your special day, because frankly for myself, I had a physical book like guestbook for my wedding, and I honestly don't really spend time looking at it, but now looking back, looking at this particular art piece, I think there will be more versatility, that you'll more likely to look back at this piece if you have it framed in your general living space, and you'll be able to look at all those who were part of that special moment, that special day. Here you can see I have Princess Mononoke kind of here in the back, as well as Ponyo, who's hugging on to Haku's tail from Spirited Away. So a lot of intricate details try to add onto the piece. So hopefully when the couple look at this piece, every single time they'll notice something different. Even on the hair of Totoro himself, you'll find that I do some fine hairs in different color oil pencils, like 3 different shades of blue rather than just like one-dimensional like black to add on shadows. Here I'm just slowly adding outline to Ponyo's hair. Certainly I hope this piece is something that the couple would enjoy, because I certainly had so much fun doing the piece. Here is a final look at the Studio Ghibli theme Thumbprint Guestbook. You can see the various characters dispersed throughout from all the epic movies that Studio Ghibli produce. It's honestly one of the larger pieces I've done for Totoro in a while, and I just hope that I don't do a disservice to Studio Ghibli itself, and also like for the couple who will be enjoying this piece. Congratulations on your special day, and thank you for trusting me and giving me this opportunity to produce this art piece. And here on the top you can see the empty space that I've left so that they can put on thumbprints onto the top to kind of fill that space into a balloon shape. Well, that's it for now. Thank you so much for joining me on this art time lapse, and I'll see you next time. Take care and stay creative, everyone. Bye for now.